What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here in this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, I leave for a couple of days, and you just let the SPS price fall. I mean, wow. We are not just below a penny, but we are tanking so freaking hard. SPS is at 0.8 of a penny, 8.8 tenths of a penny. And DEC is sitting at 66% of its peg value. Vouchers are getting very close to 2.1 cents, or about 2 cents in total. And Bitcoin's still at 66K. Now, to be fair, this is not a Splinterlands issue, although Splinterlands definitely has a bunch of issues. You can see that the entire altcoin market is just getting brutally hit right now. It's a red day across the board. You can see Gala's down 10%, Cardano's down, Solana's down, right? And Bitcoin is the only thing that's really... it's the only thing that's really holding its value right now. So far in this bull run, the narrative has all been about Bitcoin, right? Primarily about Bitcoin since the ETFs launched in January. We haven't really seen an altcoin season, but that's besides the point. The reason that I made this video, or that I wanted to make this video, was one, to call myself out and be responsible, hold myself responsible, and then two, kind of look ahead to see where we may go from here, right? Because and who knows? I mean, everything that I've said so far has been wrong, so I don't know why anybody would still be listening, but, you know, we're just having fun with it. This is not financial advice. This is literally just laughing at our bags going down the drain. Okay, so that being said, I did make a video, maybe a month or so, a couple of weeks ago, talking about the fact that I thought, you know, 1 penny for SPS would be somewhat of a hard psychological floor for folks. And it doesn't, obviously that wasn't the case, right? But in that video, I was trying to show, you know, just how much sell pressure we would need. Now, at that time, to be fair, at that time, we didn't have this wild season permit, which may or may not be the primary cause. You know, I think that there's definitely a factor involved with a lot of older players and bot accounts, or bot farms, I should say, deciding to sell out en masse and essentially just taking whatever earnings they have and maybe exiting the project, right? We've seen a lot of consolidation happening. So at the time that I made that video, we didn't have this wild season permit. That wasn't anywhere in the purview, wasn't anywhere on the roadmap. It kind of just came up very quickly. And then within a couple of weeks, it's not only going to be voted on in terms of, you know, the proposals passing, even though it's completely up to the team. But, you know, it was like 2 weeks of the proposal, and then it's launching. It seems, according to some of the Discord comments earlier today, it'll be launching at the end of this season, which means it's going live in the next maintenance window. So, you know, that being said, I was wrong. I'll own up to it. And now, looking ahead, where does SPS go from here? And the truth is, the tough, harsh truth is, I don't know that there's any more psychological floors or hard floors for SPS. I mean, we've been talking about a penny SPS for the longest time and how people would back up the truck when, you know, SPS was at a penny. But we never really talked about anything below that. And now we're in somewhat of a free fall here with the markets, you know, probably just going into whatever kind of tumble that they have. And even if Bitcoin were to recover, right? Let's say Bitcoin goes back above 70K. I don't think SPS is going to go above a penny at that point, right? And what I mean by that is in the short term, right? In the short term, I'm not talking about the full length of the bull run and all that. I'm just talking about in the short term, as we chop back and forth. We've seen Bitcoin go from 60K to 70, you know, low 70s, back down to the 60s, right? And I think we could have that chop for the next 6 months, who knows, right? But it's every time that happens, every time we dip and go back down to the lower end of the range, SPS starts setting new all-time lows, right? Because it's not just following the market, which it is to a certain extent. We're somewhat correlated, but we just have all this added sell pressure, right? The dilution rate is too high. Now you have a lot of other reasons for people to exit the project. And so I don't know when, where, if, why anybody would be buying SPS, right? There's still too much out there for the current player base, and that current player base is still continuing to fall. We haven't gotten into a position yet where we are attracting people from the outside to come in and check out the game. So at this point, I don't have an answer for you. In fact, I'm like I said, I just wanted to record this video, one, to call myself out for obviously getting getting it completely wrong. Obviously, and then two, to speculate on this, but really just to get some crowdsource ideas on where you guys think the next psychological floor would be. I mean, half a cent, right? Like we could drop another, what would that be? Another like 25, 30, 40% from here, in my opinion, and maybe, maybe half a penny. Now, granted, this all depends on how long Bitcoin decides to chop for, how long, things play out with the market. I'm still, and this is, we're already at the midpoint of June. I'm still somewhat hopeful that we get a fun summer overall for crypto and like an alt season. That's still my hope. But I've also been very clear about the fact that I don't think Splinterlands participates in that alt season. I think the only alt season that Splinterlands will participate in is when we get into a much deeper part of the bull run, right? Late 24 at the earliest, probably sometime in 25. I think the summer, considering all the changes, considering the team is not finished with the, new player experience yet, it's just there's too much sell pressure going on right now. There's too many like people exiting the game at this point, exiting the project at this point. So we're still in that tweak mode, right? Tweaking the tokenomics, tweaking the game, tweaking whatever it is, right? And at this point, like I said, I see it continuing to go down further. Now, I'm not trying to be a bear just to be a bear. In fact, I think a lot of the videos that I've done recently have been bullish. And so if anything, I've probably been too bullish, trying to be bullish, right? And so in that way, I'm looking at it now, not trying to be overly bearish, but I'm being honest when I say I don't know if there's a psychological floor here, right? If people want to sell, then it's not like it's not about selling anymore. Obviously, people are going to sell and will continue to sell, right? Whether it's, scholars that are taking profit from whatever, whether it's people who rent and need to cover their rentals, whether it is just, LP rewards or game rewards, whatever it is, even node license rewards, people will continue to sell because that's just unfortunately how the design is made, with SPS being the everything token, right? Which is odd because there's 3 tokens in the ecosystem. But since SPS is the reward token, and it's the utility and the reward token, we get into this weird situation where there's still too much coming out, still too much dilution, without enough buy pressure, without enough demand and utility. So the question isn't really when do people stop selling, because they will always sell, but when do people start buying, and more specifically buying enough that we offset some of that sell pressure. Now, the interesting thing here, and I haven't done the math, and I'm not going to do it live here with you guys, but the sell pressure goes down dramatically the lower the price of SPS is. And I'm talking about that from a dollar standpoint, right? So let's say people were selling 1 million SPS tokens a day at a penny, right? That's am I thinking about this right? Yeah, 1 million at a penny is like $100,000 worth of sell pressure every day. Well, now we're lower than a penny, right? So now we're only at 88% of what that sell pressure is. And if SPS were to go down to half a penny, all of a sudden that sell pressure of 1 million tokens per day would be 50 cents. Oh, sorry, not 50 cents, but $50,000. Do you get what I'm saying? Again, this is just rough math. As we go lower and lower, the sell pressure should be significantly less. But if it's only sell pressure and there's no buy pressure, then it doesn't really matter. We just, float all the way down to zero. Obviously, I don't think that's going to be the case. I mean, I don't think it's going to be the case long term. I think at some point somebody's going to step in, or people will start to step in. But I think we're still in a difficult part of the cycle for Splinterlands, right? In the sense of the new player experience is not there yet. The different game modes aren't there yet. Soulkeep, which I think there's some news about Soulkeep, so we'll talk about that soon, but that's not there yet, right? So at this point, we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But my question to you on this video is, how low do you think we go? What is the psychological floor that you think exists? And when I say that, again, it's not about sell pressure. It's about buy pressure. Like, let's even be more specific with this, because you guys are awesome in the comments sharing your thoughts. Where are you planning to buy? Like, when would you come in and back up the truck? Because we talked about it hypothetically, like, oh, Splinterlands, SPS goes to a penny, some people will start backing up the truck. Well, hey, we're below a penny now. So now I'm resetting that question and asking, okay, we're below a penny. If you backed up the truck at 1 cent, sorry, because you're already down, which sucks. But for anybody else, or even if you continue, where are you backing up the truck? What are you eyeing? Because I think once we start to see that, And I mean that in the sense of like, where are people actually buying, right? Because again, I have no floor. I'm not buying any SPS, right? I have no intention at this point in time to buy any more SPS because I get so much from the game already. So my floor, this is what I'm trying to get at. My floor is 0. Okay? It says my floor is 0. But I want to know where everybody else's floor is. And here's the thing. I'm saying my floor is 0. That sounds super bearish, but it's not. Like, I mean, I don't need any more SPS to enjoy the game for what it is, right? So I'm still doing my battles. I mean, my bot is handling it while I'm traveling, right? But I'm still doing my brawls. I'm still trying to jump into tournaments where I can. Like, the game still operates exactly the same for me if SPS is at $1 or SPS is at, less than a penny. So again, it's just, where does the utility come in? Where would I end up buying SPS? And at this point, I don't need any, because if I'm buying SPS, it's just to speculate, and I don't need to speculate because I already have the bag for it. But where are other folks, specifically you listening to this video right now, where would you come in and then speculate, right? Because I will say this, right, to end on a little bit more of a bullish note. It gets more and more appealing the lower it goes, right? I know reverse psychology here. People get scared by, be fearful when others are greedy and yada, yada, right? Vice versa. But it's like, all right, if we drop the half a penny, do you think SPS now can get up to a penny, right? Because that's a 50% gain. There's not many investments that you'll be able to find like a clean 50% gain in that, right? Granted, again, it could obviously go lower. Now, the thing is, for me, I was looking at SPS when it was around a penny or a little bit above a penny and saying, like, I think we can do a 10x in the bull run, right? But now that 10x is starting to look different. Now, a 10x from here is 8 cents. A 10x from, even something even lower at half a penny becomes 5 cents. And so all of a sudden, that ceiling that I was hoping to try and hit is shrinking rapidly, right? So I know that sounded bearish, but my point is that as it goes lower, I think there will be more confidence, especially if the game continues to stay up and running and the team continues to deliver, which, I think they're doing a good job with. It's just probably slower than what people would like. But as it goes lower and lower, the team continues to deliver. We start to round the corner, hopefully, with all the NPE changes being completed. Once we do that, once we complete that, where could we go from this point or a lower point up to, right? So that's my question for you guys. What is your buy price now? What is your back up the truck price? Since we are below the 1 penny range, I'm very curious to know. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.